Yes, thank you very much, Sean. And once again, a very big welcome to all of our attendees this morning. We just want to say again from our sponsors, FEM and IOPSA, how much we appreciate that you do take the time off on the Tuesday morning to listen in and tune into these Toolbox Talks. As always, we want to speak about topics that are really from your side. So a lot of people have been asking about auditing, safety auditing, and that's why we had two parts now on auditing of the actual systems on site, such as installations of geysers. And today we are going to be looking at auditing of the actual safety files on site, your safety system. So let's get straight into it with what are audits. So there are three different types of audits that we actually use in our company. The first audit is a compliance assessment audit. Now, this is really just to check whether the current documentation that you have on site, inside a safety file or a digital file, complies to legislation, first of all, as a minimum requirement, and then also complies to the site-specific safety regulations. So when you get to a client site, they might give you a pack of documents and say, well, there's your mandatory agreement. In order to have an agreement between yourselves and the client, then you get appointed as a contractor or a principal contractor, and then they give you a set of specifications in order to abide by on site. Now, this is where it gets tricky. We must read that safety specification. The reason being, the law might say to us that for every 20 employees and more, we're going to have a safety representative on site. Now, as a client, you can never go above the law. So you can never say to anybody that at 20 employees, you do not need a safety representative, because the law states you have to have a safety rep for 20 employees. But the client may state that due to the high risk nature of the work that you are performing, they are requiring you to have a safety rep from 10 employees. Now, this is legal. They are allowed to request that based on some sort of assessment. So it's not just that they say that you have to have it. There has to be a reason behind it. So they will motivate their reason or responsibility toward health and safety by giving you certain aspects that they deem necessary that have to be done on site. And this is the reason why safety specifications are so important. And reading it right from the beginning, before you actually start the job, gets rid of a lot of, arguments down the line, because then you're not too sure what you need to do. They were expecting you to do certain things, and then you just have these fights on site. And this is what we actually want to stop from happening, and that's why we are discussing auditing this morning. Then we have a program audit. So these are mandatory audits required by law. When they tell you in the construction regulations, you have to audit every 30 days, or perhaps the client specifications requires you to do a program audit on any implementations that you have on a site. And this can be done quarterly or biannually, depending on what is agreed upon. And then you've got a full management system audit. Now, this combines the two audits. The difference is it combines the audit of your actual file on site, but also your personal health and safety plan or program that the company is abiding by. So they might even ask for documentation from your actual offices that is outside your scope of work at the work site. And this is more like a legal management system audit. These are generally done every year to every 2 years in a lot of companies. But what we want to focus on this morning is just your basic compliance audit. This is the one that you're going to find a lot more on site. So really, what is the purpose of this audit? Why is it every month or every few months you are getting an audit sheet, perhaps internally or externally from the safety officers, to tell you that there's certain deviations or certain things that need to be corrected? Well, safety audits basically are such an important part of the environment that you are working in when it comes to health and safety management, as well as the environment around you, protecting the plants, the animals out there, the atmosphere, from any works that you perform that could be dangerous or hazardous to those around you, including yourself when working at work. And this is all following a cycle called the PDCA cycle. Now, if you look at the top right-hand corner of your screen, it's the Plan, Do, Check, Act cycle. Now, not every single company runs in accordance with the cycle, but safety really is being designed to flow in this manner. And that is why when you move over to a higher standard of health and safety within a company, moving more towards your ISO or OSHAS 18001 systems, I know that might sound gibberish to you at the moment, but if you just think of a safety file, or even a task that you're performing, like installing geysers or hydro boils, you plan to do it by quoting the client, telling them what they need, and then giving them an invoice in order for them to pay so that you can continue to actually do the work. Once that payment has been reflected and you've planned to do it properly, the client asks you to come to the premises, and now you actually do the physical work. But before you can hand that product over to your client, you need to have confidence that it's been installed correctly. So what do? Well, you check to see that it is actually done properly. And once you've done that check, perhaps you've seen something that you missed. Perhaps there was something that wasn't installed correctly, or maybe you just noticed that it needed to be cleaned before handing it over. What do you do with these items that you have checked? Well, you action them. You ensure that each one is ticked off to ensure that you hand over this product in the best possible manner. Now, this is exactly the same with health and safety. When we plan to do a job, the health and safety requirements around that are all planned. They are then implemented or done on site, and then they are regularly checked. And this is generally done through site visits and audits. And the very biggest part of an audit is ensuring that each employee, as well as contractor on site, understands what is the purpose of the actual audit. And here's three things. A safety audit is used as a checking tool just to measure your safety performance. In other words, are you getting better? Are you standing still? Or are you lacking in certain instances and that you can improve in? Then, because it is such an important part, we do not want you to be afraid when you go face to face with people that audit your safety files. You see, there's no problem with the actual audit findings or any recommendations that you get. The reason being is now you know for sure what the condition of your safety system is. Knowledge is the power in order to move you from one step to the next. So now you know which items of your safety system you actually need to improve. Very same as auditing an installation for a geyser. If you had to put yourself in a safety officer's position, looking at a geyser installation, they might not know what you know as a plumber. You realize there are certain aspects of that plumbing installation that need to be done in order to get a COC passed for that installation. For the health and safety officer, he knows certain aspects of a safety file that must be passed in order for you to continue working on site. So really the purpose of a health and safety audit is for both the client and the contractor to be on the same common ground, but always moving forward, always increasing the standard of health and safety by working together. So how do we actually conduct, or how do you do an audit? Now, because this is a how-to part, remember, we do have the opportunity to give you tools to be able to assist you in audits. Now, we've got audit programs, we've got Excel programs, we've got Word document programs, we've got checklists for small safety files, for big safety files, for entire management systems. And we can give this to you free of charge. Remember, as an IOPSA or FEA member, you do have the opportunity to speak to us. So we'll give you those contact details later on, and we can actually send you these checklists so that you can redesign them if you'd like and have those specific questions for the type of task that you're performing. But generally, you'll see that most audits are asking very similar questions. So how do you go about then doing an audit? The first thing to do is set up an audit schedule. How often must you do the audit? Is it legally required for you to do it every 30 days? Or has an audit schedule been set up for you to do it every second month, every 6 months, or every year? Now, depending on how your compliance assessment has been set up, you must stick to those time frames. Now you have to have an itinerary. These are the questions relating to the specific type of work that you do. We also want to ensure we know the area of where we are going to be auditing, who the auditors are, and what safety standard are you being audited against. Now, what is that? Basically, it means there are certain questions that need to be asked. If the safety standard that you are looking at is a SANS 10085 standard, which recognizes the installation and dismantling of scaffolding. So the actual audit questions must then match the standard. So basic audits will match the standard of the entire Occupational Health and Safety Act. And then there's 21 regulations that these additional questions will need to also be asked. Depending on which regulation affects you, those questions need to be asked in your instance. Then always start by checking the previous audit. This will give you a good understanding of which areas to spend a little bit more time on, which areas perhaps you need to start with first. You might not need to start by step number 1. Perhaps there's a more high risk area where you need to tackle first. Then systematically check items visually on site. Audits can never be done in a chair behind a desk. It has to be done on site, physically looking. In fact, take pictures if you can actually do that. And once you get back to do the report, you've actually got the evidence or proof in front of you to be able to design a good report. Be honest and then note down any practical or possible adjustments, as well as any new risks that you might see while you're on site. Then total the score as well as what the risk rating is. Generally, some of the programs, as soon as the score auto calculates, it will give you a green or an orange or a red, and it will tell you that you cannot continue working until these items have been rectified. Then you have to develop an audit report. This will have corrective actions on how to resolve high risk areas. It then tells you how to resolve medium risk areas and what to do with low risk areas. Communicate these findings to as many people who are involved in this process as possible. Now, it's not to isolate any person or to point fingers at any person. The reason for this is the more that people know what their standing is and how to action that to become better, you'll find that people start working together more. And really, if you've never tried this, if you've never had an audit done before, once you get the auditing process done and the more regularly you do it, you will start finding little gaps in your safety system that you can start working on and improving on. And really, again, this is the purpose of why we want to do this. Not only to check, are we compliant, but where are those areas that we can improve? Lastly, give 100% backing to this action report and make sure that you work as a team to correct all these deviations. So you might have done this yourself. You've done an internal audit program on your safety file, and perhaps you were a little bit biased because you know where your files are coming from and you feel confident enough that it gets the job done. But it now gets done by an external person. You now are face to face with a safety officer on site. They do the audit and send you a long list of non-conformances and deviations. And you get the comments such as, fix them or you do not work. Is this right or is it wrong? Well, let's not look at it from that perspective. We do not want to say who is right, who is wrong. The reason for that is you are now going to isolate the party that is right or wrong, and then it's easy to be able to make an argument against each person. Let us rather look at it from this perspective. You now have a complete list of what needs to be changed in order to have a stronger health and safety system. So you really have two options. You can fight it, and if you've done this before, you realize that it really doesn't go anywhere. Or you can use this opportunity to strengthen your management system for the site that you are on, as well as for any sites coming further on. So I'd actually like, if possible, a show of hands from everybody in the audience, especially if you are in the occupational health and safety area. And even as a plumber, you might not be designing health and safety files yourself, but just think practically. If you needed help, who would offer another person help that has been audited, got a low score on the audit, but asked you to assist them to understand what needs to be done and how to action the items that are found on this audit? If we could just have a show of hands, just make sure you realize where the button is, and then put your hand up if you think you would give help to that person if they came to you and asked you to help them with the actionable items on that audit, perhaps even going as far as giving them a few templates to assist them, maybe not doing the work for them, but helping them to understand how the work must be done. So we'd love to see from a show of hands from your side, would you help another person? And I'm sure, at the end of it, once Sean tallies how many people have put their hands up and given us a percentage, we will be able to see that it's not about who is right or who is wrong. It's about having the mind frame of working together. And also, if you need help, ask. So what should you do? If you are an FEM or IOPSA member, you have access to free digital consulting. You can send questions, queries, comments, suggestions, audit results, anything HSE related, and you can ask for assistance. Whether it's email or whether you give us a call or send us a WhatsApp message or even a text message, you are going to get one of two responses. Either we are going to give you a guideline, a very brief little guideline on how to correct the issue, and perhaps even send you a few templates, especially if it's going to be done over WhatsApp or email. Then we might even give you a conformance report. Basically, if we've got enough information and we understand where your safety system is going, we can issue you with a conformance report on what to do following this stage and what actionable items we suggest you take in order to have a higher standard of health and safety. So the reason why we're actually speaking about this and trying to get away from arguing on site is because health and safety should always be a positive thing. It should never detract from a person's work or task. And that's really what we don't want to do. We don't want to isolate you. We want to correct it as a team. So next time you need help, just ask for it. Speak to that safety officer that did the audit. Speak to your health and safety representative who provided the audit to you from your own organization, or reach out to us. We can assist with the understanding. We might not do it for you, but having that understanding of what needs to be done will help you to increase your safety system. And then you'll start finding it gets a lot easier from there. Another availability that you have as an FEM or an IOPSA member is to ask us as OHSS Consulting to mentor you or someone in your company in order to do your own health and safety. So if you want to get rid of safety consultants like myself and do it in-house, well, FEM and IOPSA have developed a nice training mentorship program along with ourselves in order to take someone in the company and help them understand how to do it themselves. Again, giving you the power to understand, implement, and build a stronger health and safety system, keeping it positive. And I'm sure you'll find that it is a lot better when you match the safety standards of the client on site. So really, we hope you've taken a lot from this auditing of safety systems. Again, we do want to mention that at any time you can reach out to us. We really do appreciate it. And thank you for those who asked about this topic. It is a topic that really is needed as well as need to be understood out there in the industry. So we're looking forward to next week's topic about manually handling, especially coming down to PPE and how to work in confined spaces or even ergonomically safe. So again, if you are an OPSA or FEM member, reach out to us, safety@iopsa.org, info@ohss.co.za, or chris@ohss.co.za. The WhatsApp number again there for you, 071-875-2070. And if you are going to send somebody for training, remember we've got another training course happening next week because of the full one this week for October in Gauteng, the 15th and 16th, next week, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then in Knysna on November the 12th and 13th. If you're in that area, reach out to us for the Western Cape Knysna area. So thank you once again. We'll see you next week for a new topic on manual handling. And don't forget to look for the Zulu Toolbox Talks that are happening every Monday morning at the same time, 7 to 7:30. Thanks, Sean. We'll hand it over back to you.
Perfect. All right, Chris. Well, you had, I'd say, about 40% of the audience had their hands up during or when you asked for it. Right, and then I can go ahead and I'm going to go straight into the first question here. That reads here: can only FEM and IOPSA memberships or members get the assistance, not SAOSH?
So at this stage, we are wanting to chat to SAOSH because they are a corporate member of ours, and I would like to reach out to FEM and IOPSA to chat to them personally, because I am a corporate member with SAOSH and I would like to assist them as much as possible. I can say definitely, because I am the one that is providing this free service, that if you are a SAOSH member, you are more than welcome to reach out free of charge to me on the digital platforms, and we can have chats on this at this stage. From the FEM and IOPSA side, it is obviously for the plumbing industry, but please, if you are a SAOSH member, 100% reach out to me. Then please use my personal email address, that is chris@ohss.co.za or info@ohss.co.za. And again, I'll just go back one slide. If you wanted to get that cell phone number, this is my personal cell phone number, so you can reach me on calling. If you can't get a hold of me on calling, drop me a text or a WhatsApp, 071-875-2070. And definitely all of you SAOSH members have this availability as well.
All right, perfect. And then we've got another comment here. I'm pretty sure it's similar to the previous one, but it reads: we have a permanent contracted H&S person that he does it. What then?
So if somebody is a contractor to you outside or even internally, there's really not a problem. That person can also contact me because they are working with you as a company. You are still a member, so that person can just reach out on your behalf with anything that you are needing assistance with. Please, the whole reason why we design these free toolbox talks, the free digital consulting, is to work together in the industry. There's nothing worse than working against somebody else, even in the same industry. So as safety professionals, what we want to do is actually break down the barriers between my client, your client, what I know, what you know, and really work together in building SA basically as a more structured health and safety country. So please, any person that wants to reach out, you are more than welcome to do so.
Right, perfect. And then that is all of the questions we have got for this moment. Chris, would you like to end off from your side?
Yes, thank you very much. Maybe some might not have seen where their hands are up, but we do have a tally of how many safety professionals there are compared to plumbers out in the industry. And we just want to say that so many people put up their hands to say that they would be available for you to ask for assistance. So you can see, if you are out there, you're not too sure what's happening, just ask for the assistance. We will do our best to give you that assistance. And we hope that from FEM and IOPSA side, who have sponsored these things, that they have gone a long way in showing you, the audience out there, how valuable you are to the industry. And we just want to say thank you to all of our attendees in the audience as well, and to yourself as well, Sean. Thank you.
Right, perfect. Thanks so much, guys, for joining us. I am going to go ahead and end the session off now. Please remember, if you are a a SEOsh member, put in your membership number at the end of the session, and then we go ahead and send the CPD reports through to SEOsh. Other than that, guys, I am going to go ahead and end it off now. Thanks again so much for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your week. Bye, guys.